Welcome to the Garage USA. I'm Jonathan Brinke.
And I'm Mary Brinke.
And today we're going to be talking about the Slate EV truck. Thanks for joining us. So when we were in Arizona, we actually did a video. Mary did a report on the competitiveness of the EV market. And really that's what this is. It wasn't Tesla versus Ford versus Chevy. It was, can a startup like Slate come into the EV market? Is there room for that competitiveness? And as you can see, there is. Now, the Slate EV, it is a small electric truck, and looks pretty cool, very interesting, and the price point is where you would want it to be at, coming in at just under $20,000 after the federal rebates. So what do you want to talk about?
The one thing that I think is really cool about the Slate EV is how customizable it is, and that not only can you customize it, but you don't have to know what you want when you order it. And so you can always change, upgrade, and add on to your Slate as your needs change and evolve, or as your finances evolve, allowing for more options, more upgrades. And so the base model they call the blank slate, which is a really good play on words and very creative advertising. But taking that blank slate and being allowed to make it what you want, I think is a really cool idea. That the way that cars have become almost as expensive as a home lately is kind of making people choose between one or the other. And those customizable options are no longer really there, because what used to be our options are all pretty much
built in the models now. Yeah. And it is nice that, I mean, you can get a very basic vehicle with crank windows and, manual controls. The standard battery, they say that's rated to about 150 miles, and then there's an extended battery that they're estimating to be about 240 miles. So, something like this, a blank slate would be perfect for my daily commute to work, and it would be something that we could use for taking yard waste and trash to the dump. And it's a nice little truck, and it's very utilitarian, and it's not bad looking either, and it's about the size of the old Toyota pickups from the 80s. So if you're familiar with those, it really kind of has that size.
And when we watched the video where they unveiled the Slate, I really appreciated how they talked about kind of removing all of the things that can go wrong and that can break from a vehicle to make the cost of ownership more reasonable, make it not needing such high-end repairs. You've talked about other EVs having problems where they basically become bricked, and now you've got this $70,000 vehicle that you can't drive because it's turned into a brick. Whereas I think that the Slate, the idea of just saying, do we really need all of these bells and whistles in a vehicle?
Right. And they do have a great amount of specs listed on their website. It's got 7 cubic feet of space in the frunk.
Frunk. That's a funny word, by the way. He had to explain that word to me. So for those of you who don't know, a frunk is basically a trunk in the front of the vehicle, because an EV doesn't have the traditional engine, and so there's all this space. So think of it, a frunk.
Right. And then as far as the bed, 35.1 cubic feet, and the bed length is 5 feet. So it is a small bed, but again, if you're just taking trash to the dump or maybe picking up furniture off of Facebook Marketplace.
Or going to the garden center to buy your wife some new trees.
Right. So it looks like a very practical, basic vehicle to do things like that. And again, and you can customize it. Like we went through the website and we did customize, and I've got a little picture of it that I'll show you. And actually, they have it listed as, I think it's called the sunny side. But I'll show you that here. And then as far as like payload and towing, I mean, you're not going to tow with this vehicle. I mean, you can. It has a towing capacity of, I think it was 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And then the payload was like 1,500. 1,400. Okay, so 1,400 pound payload, 1,000 pound towing capacity. But I mean, if you're taking like maybe your lawnmower into the shop, I don't know if you'd put that on a trailer though, would you? I guess it depends if it's a riding mower.
Depends on the mower.
But so you could tow some small things, but you're not gonna tow a car with it or anything like that.
So they've got 5 different basic models that they offer. They offer the pickup truck, which is basically the original Slate or the blank Slate, which is a 2-seated pickup truck. And then you can buy a kit to convert it into what they call a squareback SUV, seating 5, a fastback SUV, seating 5, an open air kit also seats 5 with no hardtop or windows in the rear, and then a cargo kit adds van-like cargo storage to the pickup.
Yeah, and the fastback style is what we built. We kind of liked the looks of that.
Yeah, we both liked that.
Added some options, and I'll throw some photos, like I said, of that in here.
Well, I think it's important to say that the Slate vehicles are made in the USA. They're being designed in California and Michigan and assembled in the Midwest specifically. And so if you're looking to buy a true American-made car, the Slate is for you, because right now no cars are genuinely made in the USA anymore.
No, I don't. I mean, I think Tesla, but I think even some of their parts are imported. So,
yeah, they do import.
Yeah. And then as far as, do we want to do the reservation now, or?
Oh, I think we should talk about safety features too, because I was really drawn to the safety features.
Okay.
When they were, again, doing the unveiling video, and I would encourage you to watch the unveiling video where the CFO and CEO talk about the Slate, and they go over a lot of the things, but safety was top priority for them when they were designing the Slate. They wanted to come out top notch on their safety.
Yeah.
And they did. So their preliminary test results, they are getting top-notch safety, which is phenomenal for a brand new vehicle.
Right.
Like, I mean, remember the crash test dummies and the videos from the 80s where they would show like the dummies being decapitated?
So, yeah, and some of those features, they're going to have traction control, electronic stability control, forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, 2-stage driver and passenger airbags, full-length side curtain airbags, seat airbags, and then they have remote keyless entry, backup camera, pedestrian identification, and auto high beam. Now, those forward collision or automatic braking, I don't know how I feel about the automatic braking. I mean, that's something that more vehicles are doing, but so we have those in the work vehicles, and it's got a so if the sensor senses something behind the vehicle that's super close, it won't allow you to back up. But the problem with that in the vehicles is when those sensors are dirty, or if they're ice covered in the winter or snow covered in the winter, I've had trouble backing up because it thinks that there's something right behind there. So that's a little irritating. So I don't know how that's going to work in these. Probably the same. Where did I see that now? I started talking about it, and it's like, oh, automatic emergency braking. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see how that works. We'll see how those electronics work in this vehicle, especially with it being a new vehicle. So, And then as far as making a reservation, they do make it super easy on the website. You just go over and click the reserve button. It asks for your email, your name, and then the phone number is optional. And then from there, it wants your credit card information, and then you put $50 down for that reservation. Now here's where I have my reservations on making a reservation, and that is that tax credit. A $20,000 vehicle is a lot different than a $27,500 vehicle. And so if they take that federal tax credit away, I don't think it makes it an affordable vehicle, especially for what you're getting. Now, some people will be like, well, it's still cheap for an EV. Yes, but you can also buy a used small truck for way less money. Granted, it's not an EV, but there are other options that you could look at. So, I mean, I guess with the tax credit in limbo right now, where you don't know if it's going to be around, I'm actually going to hold off. I was prepared to actually make the reservation tonight, but they're not taking orders until 2026. And so I guess I'm just going to wait for now until we figure out where those tax credits, if they're still going to be around, or if they're going to make adjustments on their actual price for entry.
I don't think they'll be able to make adjustments on their price for entry. I think the fact that they could even make it this affordable is pretty incredible. And after having studied the EV market, the pricing of the EVs within the EV market, it was really interesting to watch companies like Tesla kind of play with, oh, how much can we get away with charging people and still sell as many? And then, oops, we didn't get away with that number, so we'll back it back down and scale it back down. And I think so many of these companies that are already out there, they're looking at the maximum that they are allowed to charge for an EV and still qualify for the tax rebate. And they're literally coming in right under that nose. So the fact that this company came in and said, you know what, we're just going to try and make it affordable, I disagree with you. And I think we should reserve the vehicle because $27,000 for an EV, nobody else is making this versatile, this adaptable, changeable, personalizable, all of that at this price point. All of the other EV car manufacturers, I mean, think of like the Rivian and things like that in Tesla, and even, you know, Chevrolet is pushing hard on their EVs. They're all coming in right under that minimum. So I think it's still a great deal, because I think that this company is not, they're not trying to how do I put it, maximize their profit based on what the government says the top of this rebate can be. But instead they're saying, you know what, we want to make an EV affordable.
Okay.
So I think we should do it. I'll put the $50 on it.
All right, so I guess we are going to make a reservation for the Slate, and then we'll see how this goes as far as the purchase and the process, and we will record all of that as we go along through the purchase process, and let you know how that goes, and then I guess experiencing ownership would be the next step once
I
they
guess,
once
yeah.
they start producing these. So
I think we should give it a try, though.
okay, all
There we
right.
go.
So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'd like to thank you for watching The Garage USA. I'm Jonathan Brinke.
I'm Mary Brinke.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.